Recording in progress. Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
of pineapple fabric and synthetic leather.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Hiraya is composed of 15 students in St. Scholastica's College, Manila. And our company envisions to help micro, small, and medium entrepreneurs help the environment as well as spark local pride beans, but also the world, made of pineapple fabric and synthetic leather. So in the creation of the pineapple fabric, we have different kinds of fabric. You can add silk, cotton in it. In the bag, we use piña cocoon. It is made from pineapple fibers as well as silk. Well, these fabrics are made by the grandmothers in the community, and the fabric is, and also embroidering, make it last through the next generation. So I think with this business, we're able to pass on the culture that we started here in the Philippines. And I think it's quite successful because we won the FedEx Access Award in Japan. And by the award, I cried. I knelt down and cried. And then I realized how much changed through the program and on what the award really is. The FedEx Access Award is about connectivity from the locals down to you, down to the world. I think everyone is connected through that bag, down to the communities making the product as well as the bag. So this is where our bags manifests on how it's made through the cutting of the leather, the sewing, and the making of the bag. Since we're in the business industry, things are constantly changing, and having good relationship with your peers and your suppliers as well can make
a huge difference.
Yeah, a huge
and
difference.
Effect on the performance of our company.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Afternoon, everyone. We'll just wait for others to start our webinar for this afternoon.
15 Scholastica. We make bags made of pineapple fabric and synthetic leather. So in the creation of the pineapple fabric, we have different kinds of fabric. You can add silk, cotton, in it. In the bag, we use pinya cocoon. It is made from pineapple fibers as well.
Recording stopped.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Am I being heard now?
Good afternoon.
Sir.
Afternoon. Sige. So, good afternoon. Hindi ko alam kung nakikita ako sa camera. Wala akong view. Naka-open ba yung camera ko dyan?
Nakikita ka namin, sir.
Ayun. Okay. Sige. Jules, ikaw na mag-share ng screen. We'll start in a minute. Okay, let's start. No, am I being heard now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. Thank you. Hi, good afternoon. I am John Gabrinao. I'm the Regional Sales Manager for NCR South. And with us are the MAs and Learning Solutions Specialists for this webinar, no? Titled Presentation Effective Teaching through Schoology and JA Skills Pass program. This afternoon, we will show you how Schoology as a learning management system is being used in a high flex modality, no? And after that, we will also show you our business skills pass program, which is an answer for the work immersion and teaching how our from our grade 11 and 12 students. Okay, without further, Mr. Jorwin Yu, our materials advisors for Rizal, for the opening prayer. Okay, Jorwin, please.
Hello po, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon, Sir Jan. And sa mga teachers po
Afternoon.
natin, principals, coordinators, and other Rex Education employees. Yan. So, before we start po, let's have a prayer muna po. Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord God, first of all, would like to thank you, for everything that you have done for us, for keeping us safe and healthy, especially for our family, Panginoon. Maraming salamat po. Lord God, thank you also, for giving us the opportunity to present our products, specifically yung aming Schoology and J presentation, Panginoon. Maraming salamat po, and I hope that this would help and give our teachers and parents, and most especially our students po, the quality of education, Lord God. Thank you so much, Lord God. Lord God, allow us also to take this opportunity to say sorry if we were able to hurt feelings, Panginoon. Patapos, Panginoon, and if we have committed sins, Panginoon, sorry po, Lord God. With all these, Lord God, Panginoon, we are lifting everything, no, up to you. Kayo na po ang bahala sa amin, Panginoon, and we hope that this presentation would give, no, our teachers, no, students and parents, no, new ideas, no, sa mga nangyayari ngayon, especially with this pandemic, Panginoon. Lord God, no, allow me to also ask you, no, na to heal all those people who are sick right now, Panginoon. Sana po pagalingin niyo po sila, Panginoon, no, especially dun sa mga nahihirapan, Lord God. Sana po maging okay na po, Panginoon. We love you so much, Lord God. We owe this to you. We owe our lives all to you, Panginoon. At we believe in you and trust in you, Panginoon. Yun lamang po at maraming salamat po, Lord God. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. In Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, thank you very much, Jerwin, for that very personal prayers for everybody. Okay.
Salamat po.
Let me just share to you our agenda for today. Sige, Julius, our next slide. Jules, next slide. Ayun. All right. Sige. Let me just share to you the presentation agenda. Okay. We just led by Jerwin to an opening prayer. Thank you, Jerwin. And actually, nag-opening message na ako kanina. So that will be it. And again, I just would like to send my appreciation for everybody who was who have joined us this afternoon. Okay. For next is the acknowledgement of the attendees, no, to be made by our material advisors. Okay, so let's start with Jen Ilarde, our material advisors for Quezon City and part of Manila. Jen?
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Clear po? Hello? Hello?
Clear po, clear po.
Hi, thank you.
Yes,
Clear po.
Salamat. I would like to welcome po yung attendees ko po for today. Nakita ko po kanina unang-una po si Ma'am Flor Serrano of JP Shoson College and with Ma'am Livara. Good afternoon po. Hello po. And nandito rin po yung first time ko pong makita from Philippine College of Criminology or PCCR. Good afternoon, ma'am. Andito rin po ang UST Angelicum College, si Sir Adrian Senden. Good afternoon po,
Clear
sir.
naman.
Clear, sir. Okay po. Okay po. Andito rin po si Ma'am Lilibet Danuya of Holy Family School of QC. Good afternoon, Ma'am Danuya. And si Ma'am JJ Valenton of New Jerusalem School. Good afternoon. And si Sir Paul Acuña, sir, good afternoon din po. Andito rin po from UST Angelicum College. Thank you for joining. And sa mga ibang attendees po, good afternoon din po. Thank you. Medyo choppy si sir. Siguro po ang next pong magpapakilala po is si Billy na po. Area po niya is Manila and Makati. Billy?
Ay, good afternoon. So sorry na choppy lang po. So on my area po uh, nakita ko meron po akong attendee from Makati Hope Christian School, si Ma'am Cyril Goto, and from Lights of the World, si Marvin Santos. So I'm pretty sure may mga upcoming pa po ako kasi nagte-text pa po sila na hahabol po sila. So, sa lahat po ng hindi ko po na-identify, good afternoon po sa inyo lahat and enjoy po. So, next po.
Raul?
Yes, hello, good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, Raul.
Yes, thank you, Jen. No? Binabati ko lang po yung mga participants ko no, from Taguig, namely our Miss Angel, Ma'am Beverly, good afternoon. Ma'am Angie Exioma, owner ng ADB Mindsfield School, and some teachers from Bikutan Parochial Schools. Good afternoon po sa inyong lahat.
Hello po. Good afternoon po everyone ulit. Yun. Gusto ko lang din po batiin yung representative natin from Greenhouse Montessori na kanilang principal ay si Ma'am Charmaine Castillo. Hello po. Good afternoon po. And yung sa Queen Mary Learning Center po. Yan kay Ma'am Naneta Kailar. Good afternoon po ma'am sa inyong lahat. Yan po. Salamat po.
Yes, good afternoon, Miss Jen. I-welcome ko din po yung aking participants from Bicol. Nandyan po yung First Baptist Christian Academy. Nandyan po si Sir Jeff. Sir Jeff, good afternoon. And yung mga faculty members po nandyan din po. And welcome po sa inyong lahat. And from St. Louis de Marilac Schools po, nandito sila from Sorsogon, headed by the President, Sister Felipa Fehapen, EC. So, Sister, good afternoon. Narinig ko po yung boses mo kanina. Thank you po. And the principals po, nandiyan din po si Sir Angelas Alcobendas from St. Louis de Marilac, Sorsogon, and Gubat branch. And also Sir Bonnie from St. Louis de Marilac, Bulan branch. Welcome po sa inyong lahat. Salamat po.
Good afternoon everyone. So medyo makulimlim at mahina po internet natin. So I will just like to welcome my participants. Tatlong school lang po ito. Kanina po nakita ko si Microsystems College Diet, Pangan High School Foundation, and Global Tech programs po from Tangsur po yan. That's all po. Ma'am Jen, back to you po to introduce our speaker po for today. Thank you.
Nakamute ka, Miss Jen.
Ay, sorry. Opo, thank you po sa mga ka-team ko po na nag-introduce po ng mga attendees po natin today. So let's start po sa ating presentation on effective HiFlex teaching through Schoology. Our speaker for today is Learning Specialist Solution. May we call on Miss Janet Esteban. Miss Janet.
Hello, good afternoon, Miss
Good afternoon,
Jen.
ma'am.
Good afternoon to all our material advisors and my colleagues, the Learning Solutions Department, and of course, our dear teachers and administrators who are here in our Zoom meeting. And I hope that you can hear me clearly before I proceed.
Clear po,
Yes,
ma'am.
please.
Clear.
Yes,
All
po.
right. Thank you so much po. And then I hope that you can also see my screen. Okay naman po tayong lahat.
Yes po.
Kita po, ma'am.
Okay po. All right. Okay, so let's start po, dear teachers and administrators. So I would like to introduce myself po. Once again, I am Miss Janet F. Esteban. I am one of the Learning Solutions Specialist po of Rex Education. And for this afternoon po, what we are going to have will be a presentation on effective HiFlex teaching through Schoology. And afterwards po, we are going to discuss building entrepreneurial skills and work immersion with JADSP program, which is also one of the learning solutions na ina-offer po natin dito sa ating Rex. Okay, so the first one that we are going to start for this afternoon will be our Schoology presentation and how this particular learning management system will be of great help to you once you transition to a HiFlex modality. So again, good afternoon po sa ating mga participants. Good afternoon po sa iba't ibang schools who have attended this particular session. All right. So before anything else, before we dive into discussing the connection of Schoology and how this one can be beneficial to the HiFlex modality that we are going to have for this particular school year, I would like you, dear teachers, to reflect and to ponder on this particular question. Can we predict or dictate which mode would be best for our students? Ayan. So, you can type in po sa ating chat box yung inyo pong answer dito, okay? Or even though you don't type in, dear teachers, you can answer po sa inyong sarili. Can we really predict what will happen or what will be the best for our students, most especially that we are transitioning this time and we are opening school year 2022 to 2023. Ayan, let's check po. Ayan, so I believe na nagre-reflect tayo on this particular question. Now, if you're going to ask me personally, okay, as a teacher, because lahat po tayo dito ay teacher, including me. Now, for this particular question, of course, we cannot predict because there are different perceptions, there are different considerations that we have to take into parang thinking talaga. We cannot really predict what will be the best for our students. And this is the reason, and this is the major reason why we, dear teachers, should be adept with regards to the different modalities kahit na ano pa po yung gagamitin natin for the next coming school year. Now, having said that, dear teachers, okay, so what I am presenting here in our screen is actually the transition or the educational system that we had pre-pandemic and now that we are in the pandemic mode, okay? So remember po, pre-pandemic, we are offline. We are meeting face-to-face. Yan yung pinaka-common sa atin. However, come 2020 and then yung very unexpected that happened to us, there is this COVID-19. And this is the reason why all of the schools, okay, lahat ng schools natin all over the world have actually transitioned into becoming more online, okay? And as we move forward to this particular situation, we have learned to face different kinds of modalities for us to engage our students. And of course, as the major goal for us, to continue the learning flow that we can offer to our students. So from face-to-face, okay, nagkaroon tayo ng modular distance learning. We did blended learning, and then this time po, okay, as we transition even more together with this particular COVID kasi hindi na natin siya maiiwasan. And for us to continue our learning, we have to devise ways, we have to think different ways on how we can still continue the learning of our students despite of the distance that we share because of this COVID-19. And that is the reason why at the moment we are full online already, okay? However, dear teachers, I know and I believe that you are really seeing this all over the news, okay? Na tayo po ay magtra-transition na unti-unti from full online into HiFlex, okay? Now, we have to understand kung ano ba tong HiFlex modality na to, okay? Now, as you can see in our screen, dear teachers, ayan, as you can see in our screen here, we are actually defining what is HiFlex. I believe po that you have attended already several talks, several webinars, workshops with regards to this HiFlex modality. But for us to understand how learning management system or the Schoology can be effective in this particular platform, we have to understand what is HiFlex. Okay, so itry po natin i-tease out yung word na HiFlex. So HiFlex comes from hybrid and then the flexibility. Okay, so when we say hybrid, dear teachers, I know that you are familiar. So let's refresh our knowledge with regards to hybrid. So when we talk about hybrid modality, okay, this is actually a marriage. It's actually a mix between and among the different types of learning flow. So we have here in hybrid face-to-face, we have the asynchronous and then the synchronous sessions, which we had doon po sa ating school year 2020-2021 until 21 to 22 po, okay? And then, okay, aside from that, okay, when we say high flex, we're looking into the flexibility. What are the other options that we can give to our students with regards to this particular modality? So when we say flexibility in high flex, we're actually offering them different alternatives. Now, later on, we are going to detail out the reasons why we have to have different options for our students in this particular modality. Okay, so in general po, when we say high flex, it's actually a marriage between the hybrid modality and then the flexibility that we can offer to our students. Now, let's move forward. When we say high flex po, okay, what are the particular pathways that we can offer to our students and how this particular modality is different and apart from most of the modalities that we had, okay, prior to the rise nito pong high flex, okay? So let's talk about the three participation paths dito po sa ating high flex, okay? So the first one, okay, that we have here is what we call participate in face-to-face synchronous. And then the second one is participate in face-to-face class sessions via conference. And then the third one is what we call participating fully asynchronously via Schoology or yung tinatawag nating learning management system. Now, let's try to start with the one that we know, okay? So face-to-face. Now, in a high flex situation po, katulad ng sinabi natin, we are actually bringing yung hybrid modality natin wherein we have the face-to-face. So, dito tayo sa dear teachers, okay? Pre-pandemic, ito yung talagang ginagamit natin dito sa Philippines. Now, for the high flex, okay, in a high flex situation, as what you can see in our screen, there is also an option for you to engage your students within the classroom itself. So we're going back the practices that we had pre-pandemic kasi we're going back in a classroom already. Now, considering the health protocols, considering all the mandates given to us by IATF, okay, yung mga physical distancing natin, we shouldn't or mandate our students, all our students to just stay inside the classroom, right? And this is the reason why in a high flex path, we also have what we call face-to-face class session via conference. Now, remember po in a high flex, okay, I would just like to put emphasis on this. When we say high flex, not all your students are actually inside the classroom, but there are also groups of students who are participating via online. And this is the reason why, okay, for us to accommodate all those students from on-site and then online, we're going to use po the video conference. Now, I know po that all of you are already familiar with the different video conferencing tools. And one po, okay, yung ginagamit natin at the moment ay yung Zoom, okay? So this one is a video conference. We also have Microsoft Teams. We also have Google Meet. And then there are other learning video conferencing tools that we can use for us to still continue what we call the participate rather face-to-face class sessions via video conference. Again, we're using already a tool here. Now, when we go on the third, which is asynchronously, okay, the audience or your students will be joining your class asynchronously. This one, okay, just a review po sa ating mga dear teachers, this is already offering the student individual pacing, okay? So later on, we will identify bakit ba nagkakaroon ng iba't ibang setup when it comes to high flex, okay? So generally po, when we talk about participate fully asynchronously via Schoology, this one po is again individual pacing of our students because, for example, you have an activity rather that is not meant to be done, okay, live, for example, okay? So itong activities natin na to, pwede siya sa mga susunod na araw pang gawin ng ating mga bata or pwede pang i-access not exactly the time, okay, na meron ka when you do conferencing. For example, meron kang synchronous classes. So bottom line of this one, okay, is that this is individual pacing. So as you can see po in our screen, these are the 3 paths that we can offer when we do high flex modality. Again, you have your students, you can have your students within the classroom, but again, not all your students will be in the classroom because we are still abiding by the rules of IATF. And this is the reason why we are actually using different digital toolkits such as video conferencing tool and of course the learning management system, which is for this afternoon, we're going to discuss po yung ating Schoology. Now, moving forward, okay, how are this particular path, okay, paano natin siya magagawa? Paano natin siya mai-implement, kumbaga, ng maayos within our learning management system? Dito po pumapasok yung approach, okay, yung 3-step approach na in-offer po sa atin ni UNESCO. Ayan, you can raise your hand, dear teachers, if you have attended one of the webinars po na ino-offer ni Rex sa HighFlex. Ayan, may I see the hands po? Sino ba sa atin yung naka-attend? Ayan, so meron tayong mga nagre-raise hand. So thank you so much. So actually po, the reason why I'm asking that, because this particular concept po that we have here on the screen, itong 3-step approach po natin, these are coming from the UNESCO. Now, for us to implement and for us to continue the learning flow, despite of the situation that we have, and having HighFlex as our modality, we have to take into consideration this particular 3-step approach. Now, I'll be enumerating and then later on, we'll be teasing out each of this, okay, as we move forward. So first and foremost po, when we talk about 3-step approach, we're actually dealing with the primary, okay, primary step, which is the understand and envision. Now, as you can see po sa ating description, this is all about assessment and setting parameters. Okay, so that's our first. Now, after assessing, okay, your school, okay, and then the other part po ng inyong educational ecosystem, we move forward to decide and design. Now, for decide and design, okay, this is something to do with determining, okay, the hybrid learning model that will be best for your school. Now, the third one is all about operationalizing, okay? This is all about materializing your plan because this is already enabled in execution. Now, as you can see po, doon sa bottom ng 3-step approach po natin, there should always be a continuous monitoring and adjustment when it comes to HighFlex. Now, I would also like to put emphasis on the idea of continuous monitoring and adjusting because as we all know po, HighFlex is very new, okay? It's very novel to us. Parang ngayon po ito nangyari dito sa ating Pilipinas, dito sa bansa natin because of the situation we are in because of the COVID-19. And this is the reason why as we move forward to this particular modality, we have to check the nitty-gritty and the process and all the sets of experience that we are going to have once we already implement the HighFlex modality within our school, okay? Now, moving forward, okay, for us to elaborate each of this, I have here the next slide, okay? So remember po, it's a 3-step approach coming from UNESCO. And let's tease out po. The first one po that we have is about understanding and envision. So when we say understanding and envision, like what I have mentioned, this is about us setting parameters. Okay, now we have to set parameters because we have to look into the factors that would be affecting or will be affected by this particular modality. So first and foremost po, okay, we need to assess the needs and capabilities of our school, okay? Now, when we assess the needs and capabilities of our school, we're also talking about, it's not only the physical infrastructure, but we also have to deal with the human infrastructure, okay? That is when, okay, your student is coming in, okay? So the very core of HighFlex is actually revolving about our students and how we can give priorities, alternatives for our dear students because we have, or they have actually different situations that we have to take into consideration. So the first one that we have to check again is our student. Kamusta ba yung mga estudyante natin? Okay? So in this particular set, okay, this particular approach po, you have to classify, okay? You have to classify the types of students that you have. There are students who do not have, kumbaga, healthcare. Okay? So kailangan po nating maisip yon. There are students na yung mga parents nila are the working parents. Okay? Meron naman po tayong mga vulnerable students na medyo tawagin nating sickly, kumbaga. So meron tayong mga different considerations when it comes to our students. So we have to look into those factors for us to move forward into having this particular modality being implemented in our school. Now, aside from that, okay, aside from assessing your students, you also have to assess the accessibility and effectiveness of current remote learning solutions. Now, I think most of us, if not all, you just accomplished po yung school year 2021 to 2022. Now, online po yun, okay? It's a full blast online. Now, what are the things or what are the practices that you can carry as you move forward for this particular modality? So, doon natin makikita ano ba yung nag-work for this particular group, ano ba yung hindi. Okay? So, from here pa lang nakikita na natin, we are already monitoring, we are already assessing how our community is actually working in terms of the situation that we have at the moment. Okay? Now, part also of assessing is also your school. Okay? So, kamusta ba yung eskwelahan po natin? Kasi when we do HiFlex, technically po, we are actually bringing our students in the school. They may not be all, okay? Hindi man lahat, okay? But there are groups of students who will be attending on site. So you have to check po yung inyong mga facilities. Now also, aside from this, outside school, okay, yung mga teachers natin, yung mga students natin, how will they travel going to the school? What are the levers, kumbaga, na pwede nating i-offer? Now, that is assessing. You're trying to contextualize the situation you are in and how are you going to move forward to decide and design. Okay? Now, after assessing, okay, yun yung primary goal natin is set parameters doon sa first approach natin. We move forward to decide and design. So, this particular approach is already discernment. Okay? So, kailangan na nating mag-decide in this particular approach. So, you first, okay, have to have a clear notion and understanding of what HiFlex is. Okay? Hindi po kasi pwedeng hindi alam. Ayan, let me just check, baka po may nagre-raise. Hindi po kasi pwedeng hindi alam ng community natin kung ano yung pinapasok natin. Now, dear teachers and administrators, I know that this one, okay, deciding to do HiFlex will be the administrators and of course our teachers' decision. But you also have to look into consideration, how will this be taken? Okay, paano ba siya i-embrace ng buong community natin? So again, you have to have a clear vision of what HiFlex is. And then the main question here for decide and design, when we talk about discernment, is this particular modality for us? Okay, so you have to check that kasi hindi natin pwedeng ipilit ang hindi kaya. Okay, so we still look for something that is best for our school. Now, aside from this, for decide and design, after we have assessed our students, in here kasi you are already prioritizing if ever that you will have your HiFlex, who among your students will be part of online and then on-site. Although decision pa rin po to ng mga parents natin. So there should be a correct allocation when it comes to discernment or for this particular approach. Now, how do we do, okay, or how can we settle, kumbaga, yung mga decision natin dito? You can actually take into consideration two factors, okay? Pag nagtanong po tayo, sino ba yung pwede, okay? You can actually ask yourself if pwede ba siyang by grade, okay? Yung mga lower years ba yung pwedeng ipasok natin sa on-site or maybe mas maganda na nasa online sila, okay? So you have to check the grades, okay? By grade po tayo. Or you can also check, since we are still into abiding by the rules of IATF, baka naman we can also check the specific population of the grade levels po that we have. Sino ba yung marami, sino ba yung mas konti, okay? So that's for our discernment. That's for the second approach. Now, we move forward po doon sa ating third approach, which is enable and then executes. Okay, now before I move forward po, if ever that you have question, you can just type in sa ating chat box or you can just raise your hand. I have here my colleagues, they can actually answer questions po that you have in your mind. Okay, so moving forward, right after the two steps approach na na-discuss natin, this is already materializing. Kasi kumbaga, alam mo yung pagka nag-uusap po tayo, hindi po pwedeng drawing lang. Okay, kailangan pulayan, kailangan mag-take into action. And that is the reason why on the third approach po that we have what we call enable and then execution. Okay? So this one po is papasok na yung tinatawag nating operationalizing. Ayan. So meron tayong operationalizing. Lahat po ng plans natin dito po magmamanifest. Now, actually, for the third approach, there are questions that you can ask. Okay? So you can ask what, okay? That's the first question that you have to think. Now, what is what, okay? In this particular three-step approach. So when we talk about what, this is actually the subject. When you have discerned, okay, in the step 2 approach, who will be the details that will be appear online and then you're on site. On your third, you have to think what are the subjects that can be taught on site versus online. Okay? So I can remember po, okay, one of the schools po na hinahawakan ko, ang dilemma ng mga PE teachers, yung mga performative subjects po natin ay paano kami mag-execute ng plans kung online? Ang mga learning plans namin for our students are technically involving about performances. Okay, just like in PE. So those particular considerations, yun po yung dapat nating isipin when it comes to the third step approach, which is enable and then execute. So that is our what. Now, next naman po after this is the when. Okay, now when we talked about when, we're actually talking about the shifting. Okay, I believe po na most of you have already heard about shifting. So in the school, it depends on the infrastructure that you have. Kaya ba ng sabay-sabay yung mga estudyante or there will be a schedule that will accommodate only group A? And then afterwards, group B naman po. Okay, so I can remember po pre-pandemic, remember po nag-allocate tayo ng mga time. However, this time, we cannot accommodate everyone, okay? Not unless our facility, okay, allows us to do so. Okay, so we have the question, what are the subjects that you're going to teach within the on-site or within online? And then come is the when, the shifting. How are you going to allocate time? Okay, specific schedule for different groups. Okay, so yun po yung sa enable and execute. Now, after our when, we also have to go back to who. Okay, who are the students who will be part of online? Who will be the students who will be part of on-site? Now, this particular group of students have been determined to your assessing part. Okay, yun nasa pinakauna pa lang yan. Sino-sino ba sa kanila yung pwede na nasa school? Sino ba yung mas kailangang nasa school or pwede namang nasa online? Okay, so that is our who. Now, the next naman po that we have is about the how. Okay, now remember po when we talked about HyFlex, it's a continuous process because we have not yet established the good practices in HyFlex kasi hindi naman po ito yung nature talaga ng studying natin here in the Philippines. Okay, so for the how, okay, based on your experience, okay, based on your observation, ano ba yung mga pwede nating maitulong pa, for example, sa ating mga teachers, sa ating mga students. So, every time po na dinidiscuss ko tong HyFlex, I keep on saying that HyFlex is very intentional because you cannot move from one step to the other if you have not really taken into consideration deeply the different factors and facets of each step that we have. Okay, so Those are the three-step approach. Now, going back and to put emphasis on monitoring and adjusting, it's you, okay, dear teachers and dear administrators, and even our students and parents who will notice, okay, kung ano pa ba yung mga adjustment na pwede nating gawin when it comes to high flex modality, okay? Now, I would like to say din po that in a high flex situation, it's the teacher. Okay, our teacher has the key role in implementing this particular modality. Now, moving forward, okay, having said all of this three-step approach, we also have to reflect on the key principles or the high flex key principles, because this one, okay, these four principles will always be arising, okay? It will be here, ubiquitous po to kumbaga when it comes to high flex modality. So, first and foremost po, katulad ng sinasabi natin, there should be a learner choice. There should be alternatives, meaningful alternatives for our students, because the situation of student A may not always be true to student B. So you should have something for student B so that he or she can still continue learning, okay, despite of the situation that he or she is in. Now, next po natin, this is very important, not only in the educational system, but the equity, okay, or the equivalence. So when we say equivalence, despite of the differences ng ating mga estudyante, okay, sa kung paano man nila in-access, for example, yung material ni teacher, there should always be an equity. Kailangan pare-pareho po yan. Kailangan pare-pareho ng skills na made-develop. Kailangan pare-pareho sila ng, kumbaga, way. Hindi man po literal, okay, na way, since there are online and then on-site, there should be a commonality. Dapat may common denominator po itong ating mga estudyante to promote equity. And then later on po, we will be aligning these principles po doon sa ating learning management system, which is Schoology. Now, moving forward po, sabi ni HighFlex, there should always be reusability. Okay? Now, paano papasok si reusability in HighFlex? Remember po that you have different kinds of students attending in different modes. Okay? Kumbaga may online, merong on-site. Now, how can we help our dear teachers to reuse the materials, for example, okay, doon sa iba't ibang modality na ina-attenda ng kanyang mga estudyante? Now, again, later po, i-align po natin to sa ating Schoology. And then the last one, okay, which is very, very important before anything else actually here, is your accessibility, okay? So you have to equip your students with regards to technological skills. Kasi po, mostly, okay, we are actually moving forward. If pre-pandemic, we're not completely using any technology, but I doubt, kasi presentation natin is into PowerPoint, okay? But this time kasi it's more on inclined to technological aspect. So in as access kung kakayahan ng mga estudyante natin when it comes to technology, okay? Kailangan adept din sila, okay? Or at least they know the basic, the foundation when it comes to technology. Now, these are the key principles po, okay, that you have to remember when you want, or if you will try already yung ating implementation ng high flex modality. Now, let's move forward, okay? So, in here, what you will be able to see is already the decision. Now, once you have identified that your school will be going to do high flex, this is already the time that you have to acknowledge the best, okay, or the most appropriate learning tool or digital toolkit that will help you continue the resilient education despite of the distance that we share. Okay, dito na po papasok yung ating Schoology. Okay, so this time, dear teachers, our goal here is to have a resilient education. When we say resilient education, you might think kasi that when we go back to our classroom, bibitawan na lang natin yung mga technology. Actually, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that po. Kasi po, our goal is to move forward. Okay, we are gearing to a more technological advanced way of learning flow. Okay, so kailangan po yung ating kumbaga yung ating mindset for this should be, okay, whatever digital toolkit or whatever learning management system that you are going to use, kahit na ano pang mangyari, okay, sa background natin or sa environment natin, our learning management system should be able to aid us. Okay? Our LMS like Schoology po should be able to carry through, okay, yung mga kailangan pa nating i-implement sa ating mga estudyante. Now, let's move forward po. Okay, let's define, sino ba si Schoology? Ano ba si Schoology? So, I will not be reading this, but when we say Schoology po, it's a learning management system that is not only catering our students' needs, but more so po yung pangangailangan ng ating mga teachers for them to continue, okay, yung mga plans po nila sa kanilang mga students. Now, Schoology is a recipient of different learning management system awards, such of learning management system. So, ang ating Schoology po ay recipient ng ating CODI for the year 2021. Okay, and that's the most recent award that we have. We also have here the Tech and Learning Best Remote and of course the Stevie Award. Now, dear teachers, to give you a quick background po, si Schoology kasi originates in New York. Okay, nasa US po itong ating Schoology. And here in the Philippines, we are the only one offering this one. Now, here in our screen, you will be able to see that there are, here in the Philippines, there are already 200 plus schools who have subscribed into Schoology. And all over the world, there are more than 60,000 schools who are already reaping the benefits. Now, actually mean more so we have features here that we have safe and secure, and then we are going to integrate regardless of the modality that we're going to use. So HiFlex key principles po ay nandito. App integration will be here. Sabi natin, in a three-step approach, there will always be continuous monitoring and then adjustment. And this is the reason why we have also aligned yung ating presentation dito sa factor na to. Other help po that we can provide is your repository of shareable resources, and of course, one of the most important factor po ng pagkakaroon ng learning management system is the hand-holding and support. Now, let's move forward to safe and secure. Okay, unang-una, sino po ba sa atin ang gustong hindi safe ang community natin online? Ayan, parang wala naman po sa ating may gusto nun. Ayan. So, kung tatanungin ko kunyari si Miss Irish, of course, I know that you don't want, okay? Kumbaga, data breaching doon sa inyong school. So, how is this one, okay? How safe and secure Schoology is, okay? So, kung mapapansin po natin dito sa ating screen, kahit po may 60,000 schools at may 20 million users po ang Schoology, there will always be a dedicated website for your school. Sa inyo lang po yan, okay? Nakita ko dito si Miss Flor ng JP Shosos. Gumagamit na rin po sila ng Schoology. They have their own website. So, do you have your own URL? And then aside from this, kanina sinabi ko, this is an international product po, okay? So to contextualize whatever need that we have, technologically speaking, here in the Philippines, tayo po ay nire-recognize ng DICT when it comes to parang cybersecurity compliant din po. Now, as for the international affiliations, we have ISTE and our COPA. Now, to give you a quick background to this one, these are actually affiliations, institutions po that will help us promote safety and security within the system itself. So, hindi lang data ng bata ang pinoprotektahan dito, but also all the users within the system itself. Now, aside from that, okay, within our platform po, we can always customize user permission. Now, ito po yung minsang nawawala in a learning management system, but we are proud to say that in Schoology, we have this. Remember po, pre-pandemic, parang meron tayo mga rules. Ang bata ay bawal pumasok sa faculty room kasi hindi sila dapat nandoon. Now in Schoology, okay, this might be your digital classroom, but you can also have boundaries, okay, between and among the different roles that you have in your school. So kung ano lang yung para sa kanila, yun lang yung para sa kanila, right? So that is how safe Schoology is. You can set different privacy restrictions from the different roles that you have in your school. Now, moving forward po sa high flex key principles, ang pinakauna dito is accessibility. There should always be a way for the student to access the system, kumbaga ng easily lang, right? So, first and foremost po, since this is an online platform, una po nating i-discuss ang pagiging cloud-based na Schoology. So, hindi mo na kailangan maglagay ng mangailangan ng USB. Kasi within the system, you can actually save your materials. And then aside from that, okay, mobile ready. Miss Janet, baka naman kailangan iPhone 13 pa ang gamitin ko for Schoology. No, hindi po ganun siya, okay? So, it's mobile ready po, okay? Kahit na po meron tayong mga simpleng Android, you can actually access yung ating Schoology. And the good thing about this one is that you can access Schoology via the Schoology app or via browser. And you can actually download po for free, whether in Apple Store o kaya sa Google Play Store, ng free yung ating Schoology. And then for our kids, kasi sabi natin kanina, there are different needs that we have to take into consideration. Now, if you have small kids po, small students, they can actually access Schoology via simplified login or yung mga QR codes po natin. Ayan. Next naman po natin is for our dear teachers, okay? We are talking about the equivalency, okay? Equity ba na tinatawag natin. So, within the Schoology itself, these are the different things that you can have, okay? So, you can upload for our dear teachers. As you can see po doon sa left side po natin, leftmost natin, you will be able to see there the different materials po more equity, okay? Para sa ating mga students, teachers can actually integrate different learning objectives. So kung meron po tayong coming from the MELT, that is already integrated within the school. Kasi what we promote is a equality po, yung equity na equity, magkaiba yung equality tsaka equity po, no? So we focus on the equity, dear teacher. So in here, we develop certain skills na para sa mga estudyante natin. So we can have that within the system itself. Now, to make your lesson more engaging, we have different materials dito. Kasi may mga teachers tayo, of course, yung students nila, for example, is more on visuals. Okay, so you can actually add media. Depende po dun sa mga estudyante natin. Kasi we have to assess, di ba kanina sinabi po natin, we have to assess our students' needs. And part of the needs of our students is to actually recognize how they learn. Okay, ano ba yung mga pwedeng ways para mas matuto yung estudyante natin. So, everything po dito ay magagamit natin. Okay? Magagamit sa reusability. You can actually print kasi po. Okay? Later on, pwede natin ipakita. You can use your materials. Kunyari po, as of the moment, you have your materials and you're planning to use it for the next school year, then you can have that within the system also. Now, next naman po natin has something to do with the different options that we have for assessment. Ang kinagandahan po ni assessment is the reusability, okay? I have to admit it, dear teachers, that if we have best materials po, we tend to parang nadodrawn tayo doon. So we tend to reuse it, okay? Meron lang tayong mga tweaks na ginagawa, but technically some of those materials can be used pa naman. So in here, we can have this within the system. And then focusing on the assessment, we have different types. Be it objective and be it subjective. Lahat po yan meron tayo. So, in dito po sa screen natin, actually 18 tayo yung meron tayo. Right? And then, moving forward, capabilities of our students and the learning achievement ng ating mga estudyante. So, in here, what you can see here is that you can actually grade your students ng mabilisan. Makikita po agad nila yan. Now, kanina nabanggit ko, there are built-in rubric system. If you want more, then you can have it within the system. Pwede tayong mag-add. And then also, what is good about this particular platform is that you know the learning growth of your students because we have different tools that will be able to assist you when it comes to that particular objective that you have for your students. Ayan. So, do we have any questions po so far, dear teachers and administrators? Again, pag nahihiya po, you can just type in your questions. Okay. Ayan. Okay. So, in here, also to put more emphasis on this particular deeper insight to student performance, remember po, dear teachers, that not all your students are inside the classroom. So you have to take into consideration those students who are online world. So you really have to assess. And part of assessing is for you to give real-time feedback. Okay? So when we provide real-time feedback, it's very fresh sa mind ng ating mga students, right? So when they do something or when they have their particular activity and you put comments on it po, then they will be able to understand, okay, kung ano-ano ba yung kailangan pa nilang i-focus. Alright? So that is deeper insight to student performance. Now, moving forward tayo, dear teachers and administrators. Ayan. Now, in here, learner's choice. Remember po, dear teachers, that we need to provide alternatives, meaningful alternatives for our dear students. So, as you can see po, for our teachers, again, we are focusing on the teacher, as you can see po sa ating mga explanation, because the teachers, they actually hold the key role. Okay, sila yung kumbaga key people pagdating sa ating HyFlex. Okay, so in here, okay, for the learner's choice and then that with teacher's provision, there can be a personalized learning for the different types of students that you have. First po, okay, we can provide flexibility, okay, for you, dear teachers, to personalize your content. Remember, dear teachers, that we can offer different materials. Ayan. So in here, okay, if content natin is highly visual, then you can go, okay, siguro mag-gravitate towards tayo doon sa mga materials na pwede, okay, para sa mga visual learners natin. Auditory learners natin, dear teachers, we can also have that within the system. Again, there should be different options for our students. And when we give options to our students, we have to take into consideration what type of student, kumbaga, meron tayo, right? And have to monitor the progress of your students, okay? So, kumusta ba si student A, okay? How is student A taking, for example, all the activities that you have? As compare, okay? Not actually compare, as parang kumbaga, student B, okay? Kamusta si student B? So, in here, the teacher can always monitor the progress of the student. So, as you can see po dito sa ating lower right, okay, medyo lower right natin, as you can see po, this is what we call the student progress, okay? Because in Schoology, like what we have mentioned, we can always personalize learning. And this is the reason why part of the teacher's ability within the Schoology is to create a self-paced learning for students. So meron pong iba't ibang estudyante and we have to figure out kung paano natin malalaman kung paano ba yung learning development ng ating mga estudyante. Kaya po, meron tayong dyang student progress. So makikita natin kung yung bata ba malapit nang matapos sa material, kung medyo malayo pa po siya. So before I proceed po, I would like to ask our participants, how do you do your lesson po pre-pandemic? Kumbaga yung any volunteer po? Ayan. Baka may gustong mag-share. Ano lang po, how do you organize? Kumbaga, if I may share, dear teachers, habang nag-iipon pa ng courage yung iba to recite, if I can remember po, when I was teaching, bago ko lumipat at maging learning solution specialist po, we have what we call motivation. After motivation, we do some parang background checking para ma-contextualize namin yung mga lesson. After that, the lesson proper. We do quiz and then we do discussion, for example, and then we do quizzes. Now, sa inyo po kaya, okay? Maybe mayroon tayong isa na pwedeng mag-share bago po tayo mag-move forward. Ayan. Siguro, let's have my colleague. Teachers din naman po sila. Let's have Sir John, if you can share. Yan. You can just unmute your mic po.
Alright, so Miss Janet, for your question, I organized and person learning inside an LMS or in any way possible by putting them in one place and at the same time try to be organized as much as I could be. And of course, at the same time, you have to synchronize everything so that you will know the flow of your lessons.
Thank you so much, Sir John, for that sharing. So technically po, dear teachers, we have different ways on how we organize. But the bottom line of this one is that we try to organize it the way our students will have a strong understanding of our topic. Kumbaga, we add one to the other para ma-build yung kanilang foundation. So in Schoology, it's also like that. If you are doing your lesson first through motivation, then you can have that. And you're not going to allow your students, not unless they are done to the motivation part, to move forward to the next. Okay, so that's how we do personalized learning. Okay, and that's how we give options to our students. Actually, we can provide different ways pa po, okay, on how we can engage even more yung ating mga estudyante. But the thing here is that we have a continuous monitoring for our dear students. Okay? Now, how do we engage even more our students when it comes to Schoology? Okay? So in here, what you can see in our screen, these are the things that your students can actually do. So first, okay, it's very important, the accessibility of Schoology. Okay? How easy it is for them to access yung ating Schoology. This is the reason why in Schoology, we have two options. Either you access it via browser na tinatawag natin, or if you have your Schoology application. Okay? So either of the two, ma-access pa rin yung mga materials natin. Okay? And that is the one, that is actually one way for us to trigger even more the attention of our students kasi madali makita yung mga materials. Next naman po, next in line natin is that our students will always be reminded, okay, by the different activities that they are supposed to do. As you can see in our screen, we have our overdue. Just in case our students are not yet accomplishing the task that you have given, it will be reflected on their Schoology page. If ever naman po na coming tasks for them, you can also or the students can also see that within the system. So it's a matter of making them aware of the different things na kailangan nilang i-accomplish doon sa course po or sa subject mo. And then also, okay, you can or our students can enjoy interactive activities kasi pwede pong lagyan ni teachers ng mga different materials. And then at the same time, actually gamify your lesson because of the different badges that we can have within the system, right? Ang next naman po natin dyan is, this is very important. So despite of the distance that we share, there should always be a provision on the collaboration of the students, okay? With their classmates. Kailangan po yun. So in Schoology, we can still have that, okay? So continuous pa rin po yung ganong setup within Schoology. Ang kinagandahan lang po is that we level up those particular engagements of our students using the different tools that we have within the system. Now, moving forward, okay, this is your application integration, okay? So I believe po that most of you have already utilized educational tools, okay? To name a few po, ano ba yung mga nagamit na natin, okay? So we have Canva, yung makasaysayang Kahoot, meron tayong quizzes, okay? Marami po tayong mga educational tools that we can still have within the system, okay? And that is the reason why app integration is very encompassing and be connected with the different edtech tools that you can use seamlessly. Okay, so paano tong seamlessly, Miss Janet, within the Schoology? Okay, so within our system, okay, if you are using your Google Drive, you can actually pull different materials from your Google Drive within the Schoology itself. So again, our main goal in Schoology is that to have all of these actions within the system itself. Kasi let's face this, dear teachers, there are different kinds kasi, okay? Different types of learners. And then at the same time, there are also teachers, okay? There are teachers who can easily adapt to technology. But there are also teachers that need to have some assistance, okay, when it comes to utilizing technology. And there's nothing wrong about that, okay? And this is the reason why we keep on attending to different talks for us to become more aware about the different tools that we are going to have. So, for example po, ang teacher natin kailangan gumamit ng YouTube, okay? So, within the platform itself, okay, pwede na nating i-access si YouTube. Tandaan po natin, ang iniiwasan po nating mangyari dito is to have different tabs, okay? Na kung saan pwede pang maligaw yung mga estudyante natin. That is not our goal, okay? So we can have it one-stop shop, kumbaga, yung Schoology natin. And then moving forward po, okay? Aside from that, remember po that in HiFlex po, it's not only face-to-face, but there are also students who are online. Now, how are you going to meet this particular two path? Okay, anong tools yung gagamitin natin? Okay, so in here, we're going to use different video conferencing tools or whichever video conferencing tool po yung ginagamit natin. So, si Schoology, as what I have said po, okay, very, very embracing ito because you can have different video conferencing tool, okay, na pwede nating ma-access with Schoology. So, for example po, you're going to have Zoom, okay? So yung Zoom link po natin, we can have that within the system itself para yung bata, kumbaga, centralize yung pagbigay natin ng link sa mga bata. And katulad ng sinabi ko, hindi na maligaw yung mga bata or mag-open pa ng ibang mga, let's say, messaging tools, okay? So if you're using Zoom, if you're using Big Blue Button po o yung BBB na tinatawag, it's within the system. If you have Microsoft Teams po, kung yan yung preferred ng school nyo, we can have that within the system or yung Google Meet po natin. Okay? Now, if ever po that you want to be part of the Microsoft Teams, okay, yung team po ng Microsoft, then we can talk about this po, okay, together with yung ating mga material advisor po natin, most especially if you have your school domain. Environment po yun ng ating Microsoft Teams. But technically po, when we say about application integration, this is not only for asynchronous, but if you are planning to have it synchronously, okay, kasi one of the paths pa kasi ng ating HiFlex, ayun po, then you can have, okay, this particular video conferencing tool within the system itself, lalo na yung mga link. Now, next po natin is monitoring and adjusting. Now, I would like to go back po doon sa ating three-step approach and how we can kumbaga implement this particular three-step approach effectively. Now, based on all the sets of experience po that we are going to have within this using this particular modality, okay, there should always be kumbaga parang dapat naka-stone fix tayo when it comes to idea of consistent monitoring and adjustment. Kasi nga po, remember po that this one po is not fit to all, okay? Kailangan natin tong i-tailor fit based on the needs of your students, based on the needs of your teachers, and most especially based on the needs of your community. So there should always be a monitoring and adjustment. Now, how can we do that within the system itself? Okay, so what you can see here in our screen are the different features available in Schoology that will help you assess, okay, will help you with regards to managing your classroom. Pre-pandemic, it's a lot easier for us to call the attention, example, of a student who is not behaving well. Okay, mabilis lang po yan para sa atin. But this time kasi in an online world, it's another setup for us. And we have to be prepared when it comes to this particular setup. So with this, okay, we have different features that will be able to help you into, materializing your ideal online classroom or digital classroom. First, we have our calendar. Within the calendar po, dear teachers, you can actually set here different activities na graded and then may time. Okay, so makikita po to ng estudyante natin, makikita po to ng mga teachers natin, especially kung nandun ka sa isang subject na yun, okay? Next natin is check attendance. In here po, I would like to put emphasis that this is not only for our dear teachers, but this is also for our guidance counselor, for example, yung mga non-teaching staff po natin, yung mga school personnel po natin, they can actually have the attendance of the Schoology to help you check, okay, yung attendance, okay, ng ating mga estudyante. Now, for the moderate course access, I would like to put emphasis on this particular feature for the fact that we want to promote safety and security. Okay, remember kasi yung accessibility natin within the high flex modality is very important. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that when your learning management is accessible, hindi siya safe. First and foremost po, dapat safe siya and secure. Now, for moderate course access po, this one kasi like a filter. I believe ay Facebook. Ayan. Siguro kung hindi man lahat, majority of us within this Zoom link, okay, ay may Facebook po tayo, okay? So, gusto ko lang i-dikit, okay, ng konti si moderate course access kay Facebook. Kasi remember po, in Facebook, we can filter. We can filter what should be posted, what should not be posted, okay? So, technically po, in Schoology, we also have that, okay? So, po natin the Schoology na may mga ma-post na hindi pwedeng ma-post. Okay? May mga comment na maibigay na hindi naman po dapat maibigay. So, in Schoology po, we have that. Okay? We can moderate the access po ng ating mga estudyante so that we can still promote yung ating safety and security sa ating mga estudyante. Now, another feature, key feature po of our Schoology, okay, is yung workload planning. Remember po, one of the principles po ng HighFlex is yung ating learner's choice. Okay? So in workload planning po, this one, be it online yung students mo or on-site yung estudyante po natin, we will be able to see if bombarded na po yung ating mga estudyante sa dami ng activities nila or hindi. Remember po that there are different situations na na-experience yung ating mga estudyante. We should always promote balance to their life, personal. And this one is actually a provision of Schoology, okay, for us to determine whether okay pa ba yung loading ng mga estudyante natin or hindi. Alright? So, that is how we manage our classrooms. We manage our classroom into different layers depending on the needs of your students and the class that you are handling. Moving forward tayo, dear teachers, okay, for our another story adjustment that we can have within the system. This is what we call course analytics. Okay, when we talk about course analytics, okay, kung particular feature na to has something to do with the teachers identifying, determining the level of access of their students within the course po na sila yung ating subject teacher. So what you can see po doon sa ating screen, we have the title. So yung title is ng estudyante natin. Also presented in our screen, okay? Kailan ba in-access ng estudyante? Nakapagpasa ba yung mga estudyante natin? How many submissions ba yung ginawa ng ating mga student? And actually, in the course analytics, we can also have the time spent na ginawa ng ating mga estudyante. So as you can see po, dear teachers, you can have a clear view on how your students are actually performing the course that you have. All right, so that is our course analytics, and that is for our teachers. Okay, now also, okay, aside from that, for our school administrators, you will have a clear insight po, okay? You'll have a clear insight on how your school is performing, how your teachers are performing, whether the teachers are in online. For a while, dear teachers. Ayan. Okay po. Ayan, good afternoon, Miss Mercedes. Okay, moving forward po. For communication and collaboration, this is very important because even though layo-layo po tayo, or even though my online student ka or my on-site students ka, there should always be a communication. There should be age that connects us dear to our dear students. Okay, so in Schoology po, you can have your announcement. Okay, meron din po tayong private messaging that works like an email within the platform itself. Ayan. Moving forward po, ayan. For the other personnel po, okay, for the other educational stakeholders, these are the things that they can do within the system. Parent involvement is actually the discretion of they will be giving parents account, okay? And then even yun sa ating mga ibang departments. For our parent, they can actually view and monitor yung ating pong mga estudyante. Po ng ating presentation for Schoology in the HiFlex world. For the repository of materials, let me just share this to you. These are the different. First and foremost po, there are materials given by the different educational stakeholders from all over the world. So pwede natin siyang i-access. As well as, okay, these are the Rex content na pwede po nating mailagay within the system para po ito sa mga options din for our dear teachers. So we have Rex Academy, RexLex, okay, we have our journals, different supplementary materials that can ease our teachers when it comes to learning plans. Now, this one is the most important part po, okay, for the hand-holding and support. Now, when we say hand-holding and support, dear teachers, this is us, okay? Our department, Learning Solutions Department, that can assist you all throughout the implementation of your Schoology, be it in a HiFlex situation, in a face-to-face situation, whatever modality you have chosen, because the primary goal here is to have resilient education using Schoology. Now, these are the different support system po na meron tayo. So, there are qualified edtech specialists. Meron tayong instructional practices for you, dear teachers, for everyone in your community. We have different training and then professional development. There will always be a dedicated team for your school, okay? So, may mga maa-assign to help you and guide you on how you're going to Schoology in HiFlex world, or actually kahit the modular, okay, kung ano po yung mapili ng ating school. Now, you can reach us, okay, via phone, via email, or through web. Ayan. So that is how extensive our support for you, dear administrators and dear teachers, and of course for your entire community. Now, going back here, okay, these are the other support. This is actually all year round. Medyo makulit kami. We can do account creation for you. We can do training for the different stakeholders such as the teachers, students, parents, or school leaders, and your system admin. We also have kamustahan, and we have different monitoring po. Okay, we have daily monitoring, monthly monitoring for the analytics reporting. So in every way possible po, Rex team, the Rex Education way people, when it comes to using Schoology, kahit na anong modality po yung piliin natin. Now, we have reached already the HiFlex with Schoology. Now, I want to show to you yung pong HiFlex classroom simulation po natin. Alright? So, ayan. Ipipi ko that you can see how we set up question na dyan is paano when it comes to high flex modality. So I have here my colleagues. Ayan, I hope that you can see the screen. Ayan, say hello naman colleagues. So this is very straightforward setup that we have for high flex. Okay, what here on our screen, okay, the left side is my laptop. Okay, in my laptop po, this is the PowerPoint presentation po na meron tayo. Okay, na ginagamit ko po. And then, what you can see po doon sa aking likod is provision for my on-site students so that they will be able to see whatever it is that I am projecting via Zoom. Okay, para sa mga Zoomies ko po. Yung mga students natin, okay, ating naka-attend via online. So, I have my
Janet?
laptop. Yes, sir.
Yep, hindi pa nakikita yung yung background mo, naka-virtual background ka pa. What should we see right now?
You should be seeing on my screen, sir, ha? You should be seeing po yung ating setup.
Wala pa.
Hindi pa po ba nagre-reflect sa Zoom po?
Hindi pa. Naka-virtual.
Yes, sir. Naka-virtual background po ako. But the one that I am presenting on the screen is the setup po that I have.
Ayun, wala pa.
Ayan, baka
Christian, yung high flex classroom ba?
Yes po. I'm presenting po the high flex classroom. Ayan po, kumakaway po ako. So you will be able po to see my colleagues as my students. It's on the ito po, if you're going to look at my screen po, ganun po siya. Ayan. Raise hand po tayo if you...
Wala pa, Miss Janet. Ang nakikita lang namin is yung lang.
Ikaw.
Parang wallpaper po.
Pwede pong on the topmost part of your Zoom po. Okay? Sa speaker po ba, baka naka-speaker po kayo, try nyo po i-gallery.
Okay. Sige, ayan.
Nakita niyo na po?
Ayan, meron. Yung high flex
Okay
classroom.
Yep. Yes, sir. Alright, so thank you so much po. For those po na hindi ako nakikita yung high flex classroom natin po, just click gallery instead of speaker para po makita natin. Ayan. So going back here, the setup that we have here is very straightforward. First and foremost po, since we are abiding by the standards of IATF, there should always be physical distancing doon sa mga estudyante nyo. Now, for me, for the teacher po, I have my laptop so that I can project, okay, whatever it is that I am projecting po, dito po sa projector natin for my online, for my on-site student. Now, the Zoom or the video conferencing tool po that I have is for my online students. So, kayo po yon. Now, I'm also using po itong aking headset. Now, in the classroom setup kasi you have to stand. Now, in here po kasi nakaupo lang si dear teachers. But if ever po, I'll i-teacher yung headset so that maririnig po. I hope that you can still hear me. So, nakatayo po tayo. Ayan. So, upo na po ako ulit. Ayan. So, sorry po. Now, here po sa aking right, you will be able to see another monitor. In here kasi, I'm helping my on-site students to see their classmates. So, yung mga online students ko po, dito po sila naka-reflect sa aking screen. So, if I want, for example, Miss Gail Arboleda to open your camera so that your classmate will be able to see you, then Miss Gail Arboleda po will be projected here in my screen. Now, it's your discretion, dear teachers, if you will be using yung ating headset po or if you have mic, although pag mic kasi sir and ma'am, medyo sumasabog yung sound natin. So, it's your discretion. Actually, you can just remove this and just talk po. But for the sake of magkarinigan po tayo ng maayos, okay, nakalagay po yung ating headset. So, again, this is very straightforward. Again, I re-remind ko lang po, the materials that we can use will be the laptop of the teacher. We also have our monitor here for our dear students who are in online rather. I have my projector po sa aking likod para naman sa mga on-site students ko. And of course po, I also have phone there para po makita nyo kami. Hello, ayan. So ayan po, that's how we set up yung ating HyFlex. But if you are planning po to have this, we can still give you further instructions po. We can ask our MA so that we can provide more information about this one. Now, what I want to project na rin po is this one, is our Schoology and how we can use yung ating Schoology within the, or with the HyFlex modality that we have. Now, what you can see na po on my screen is already the HyFlex na course. Okay, nakikita po ba natin siya? Yan, nilakihan ko lang po.
Yes, ma'am. Kita na.
Okay, so thank you so much po. Now, what you can see here, okay, so this is already the platform of Schoology. Medyo nilakihan ko lang po so that you will be able to see how it looks like, okay? But technically po, this is your digital classroom. Again, this is arranged and this is organized per subject, per section. So, hindi to halo-halo. Now, we have here different tools that will aid you when it comes to extending your learning activities for your students. Now, I'll be focusing already on the materials that we have here. Katulad ng sinabi natin, when it comes to HyFlex, there should be, ayan, may, okay po, mute yan. Minute ko lang po ha, if ever po na may question kayo, you can just raise your hand or unmute. In here po, dear teachers, the good thing about Schoology is how open it is with regards to whatever modality that you have. So for example, in this case, kasi we are having a HyFlex situation. So I have here different materials that can be accessed whether my student is online or on-site. Okay, so for example po, dear teachers, I have here something, okay, this is here, my students can answer via Schoology, or if ever that I want to call some of my students here in on-site, okay, on-site, pwede rin po silang makasagot. So, let's try po. So, for example po, my student has answered already, then I will be able to see within my end, okay, yung sagot po ng aking estudyante. Now, if ever naman po, okay, na gusto kong pasagutin, for example, si Sir Paulo na nandito on-site, pwede rin niya pong masagot. And then we can actually talk about the answer of... Yan. Yes po. Okay. So we can actually engage our students, be it online, be it on-site. So regardless po, okay, ng kung nasan yung mga bata, we can still have this. Now, another activity, for example, dear teachers, paano naman yung asynchronously, kanya-kanyang access yung mga estudyante? Let's say, kasi lesson ko lang naman yon. Or for example, PowerPoint presentation, it will always be presented within Schoology. Hindi po siya maaalis. This is teacher-driven. Not unless you remove the material, okay, remove the access of your student to the material that you have posted, primarily because of the time that you have added, then technically mawawala to sa kanila. But if ever that this is open, your PowerPoint presentation, your learning materials for your students will just be present within the system itself. Now, ang question dito, how about for group activities? Okay. Now, for our group activities po, pwede pa rin yan. Now, to give you an example, okay? Sakaling synchronous po ito, remember po that we are using Zoom. Now, in Zoom po, we have breakout rooms. Or kahit, for example, Microsoft Teams yung ginagamit natin, we have breakout rooms. So let's say your on-site students will be divided, okay? Kung, let's say, 2 groups po, okay? Since we are considering physical distancing, then they can have, okay? They can have their groupings dito po sa classroom. And then at the same time, para walang naiiwan, equity ba? Kumbaga, yung sinasabi po natin, our online students can still have their groupings using the breakout room of any of the video conferencing tool that you are actually using. That's how flexible Schoology is. Ayan, na ano na si Miss Janet. Now, dear teachers, okay, this is very important. One of the core aspects of teaching is for us to have a learning, kumbaga mag-gauge natin yung understanding ng ating mga estudyante. So within the system itself, okay, pwede po nating i-separate yung quiz ng bata na nasa online or nasa on-site. Kanina, binanggit natin, okay, if for example po, kunyari sa on-site, gusto ko printed yung material pero ayoko nang mag-type, okay? So you can actually have or you can actually download, pakita ko po sa inyo. You can actually download your materials within the Schoology so that you can print it out para po maibigay natin doon sa mga on-site students natin. So ito na po siya, nag-PDF file na po siya. So ito po kasi ay may mga nagtatanong kasi paano yung nasa classroom? Gusto ko naka-pen and paper naman sila. So that parang we go back to something tangible. So you can still do that within the Schoology with less hassle, kumbaga. Kasi hindi mo na siya itatype, i-retype. Kasi you can still have it within the Schoology itself. Now, for example po, let's have a participation, okay, ng on-site student ko. Let's say I'll be presenting po. Let's say may student po ako na gustong mag-recite. Let's say si Sir John, okay? Sir John, for example, we have sets of questions here. Pwede kang mamili, Sir John, and then you can answer. So, Sir John, maybe you can recite.
I would like to address and answer question number 2. I think for a person to be confident and sound convincing with the message he or she is trying to deliver, he or she has to cite information about informations from legitimate and reliable sources, or he or she should avoid getting informations and spreading it, especially when he picked it just on social networking sites. So for him or her to be confident and to be reliable, he has to dig deeper, research about it before conveying the message to his or her audience.
Okay, thank you so much for that well answer, Sir John. So as you can see po, with the setup that we have, either your student is here within the classroom with you or sabihin natin nasa online, there's still a collaboration happening because of the devices po that you have set within your classroom. Now, I would like to open the floor to question and answer. Maybe you have questions, features, or clarifications on be of great help with regards to HyFlex modality. So you can just raise your hand, type in our chat box, or just simply unmute your mic po so that we can hear you. Ayan, baka po may question tayo.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Hello po, good afternoon po.
This is Surgeon Al Guray of SLMC.
Good afternoon, sir.
To ask about the guides that you use during the oral questioning with your students. Kasi ano po yung ginamit nyo na gadget dyan sa on-site and then maririnig po ng sa online po.
Ayan, thank you so much, sir. Okay. Baka isipin po natin that the gadget that we have here will also be the gadget of the students when the classroom o kaya online. Technically po, ang ginamit lang ni Sir John para po makita nito is of course po, our students should have an access doon sa learning management system because the question is actually posted within the system. Now, for him to answer and for his classmates to hear his answer on sa question po natin, he's actually using a laptop right now and headset po. But technically po, kaya po ni Sir John, yung kanyang at maririnig pa rin po siya because of the speaker na meron o mic na meron yung kanyang laptop. Now also, okay, bigyan ko lang din po, since si Sir John po ay nasa classroom, I would also like to discuss something about the HDMI, yung mga cords po na ginagamit natin. So if si Sir John po ay nandito sa classroom natin, yung HDMI po kasi na ginagamit natin, remember parang color blue, okay, na naka-connecting, parang may tutos po. It serves na po, parang nako-collect po yung sounds po nung, let's say si Sir John po, kahit na wala siya nito kasi si teacher nandito sa school, maririnig pa rin po siya. So, to answer it shortly, Sir John is using laptop and then headset, but kahit po walang headset, the classmate can still hear the answer.
Thank you,
Ayan.
ma'am.
Thank you so much po. Yes, and if for example po, ang worry natin, baka may mga magkakapatid na limited lang yung net. Si Schoology po kasi can be accessed through mobile phone. So pwede yung mobile phone po natin. Basta i-remind lang po natin yung mga bata na if we're going to use, let's say, Zoom, then they have to download po yung app, yung Zoom app po para magamit nila sa cellphone. Ayan. Thank you, sir. Any other question po? Ayan, baka may question pa po tayo. So far po, walang nagre-raise pa ng hand.
Hello.
Hello po.
Janet. Yes,
Yes
good
po.
afternoon. This is Raul. No? Pasensya na, medyo may message lang na nahiya yung ating ma'am, ang tanong nila kung hindi naman daw po, i-rephrase ko na lang na para mabilis tayo. Yung dati silang ibang user ng ibang provider ng LMS, and then paano daw yon in case meron silang interest na gamitin si Schoology. How do we go about it?
Sir, I would just like to clarify the question. The question for them to extract their learning materials to Schoology.
Correct.
Okay po. So, thank you, sir, for that question. Well, that is really happening po. There are other schools who are using different learning management system and then they plan to switch to Schoology. Now, first and foremost po, okay, let's be clear about the, kumbaga, yung permission na ginagamit po ninyong website or learning management system at the moment. Because technically speaking po, these are two different learning management systems. They have their own permissions. And this is the reason why we have to check if the permission of that particular LMS allows them to convert the material through Schoology, kumbaga directly. However naman po, meron tayong mga alternatives for that. Remember po, prior to us uploading the materials, we have it within our device. Okay? Nasa device natin siya. So, if that is the case, if you have your materials within the device, within your device, it's a lot easier for us to have it within the Schoology kasi Schoology naman po is very embracing with the different types of materials that we have. Be it PDF, PowerPoint, so pwede po natin siyang i-upload. Now, on top of that, the good thing about Schoology is that you can actually store it within the system itself. So, nandoon na siya. So if you have it within your device, we can easily upload it within the system and save it there because this is cloud-based. And if this will be coming straight from the learning management system that you are currently using, then you have to check first the permission of your provider before we carry out the plan of parang converting all the materials. But then again, if you have it within your device, no need to ask for them. Because your materials is yours, then we can just upload it within the system. Ayan. Thank you, Sir Raul. I hope I have answered clearly yung ating question.
Opo. Tama. And then last question, Miss Janet.
Opo.
Regarding dun sa ating dalawang previous na topic, no? iFlex tsaka Schoology. May requirement bang bandwidth since ang mga estudyante ay nasa school at ang mga teacher ay gagamit ng internet connection? Ano ang required bandwidth ng kailangan daw ni school?
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay, as for the requirements of Schoology, okay? If you are planning, okay, for example, I'm talking dun sa needs ng ating mga estudyante. If the students will just need to access the materials uploaded by the teachers, then technically they can have at least 512 kbps. Okay, so yun po yung parang pinaka-minimum natin. However, if, for example, yung ating mga estudyante or even yung ating mga if you conduct just like this, at least 1 Mbps. Now, to give you a clear view about this one, okay, kami pong mga LSS, when we go out, okay, do our field, we're just using data, okay, mobile data. Ako po, I tried parang pa-load ng 50 pesos. And then parang yung provider ko po, meron silang parang mga giga-giga, parang internet po na binibili. I am just using that, then I can access yung akin. Attend din po ako ng Zooms like this using mobile data. 30 pesos po will do already. Again, minimum po if you're just opening 512 kbps. If you're planning to have it synchronous, attend ka katulad po ng session natin ito at least 1 Mbps. Thank you po. Now, add ko na rin po. Ay, sorry po. Add ko na rin po. For the mobile device, at least po Android na 5, latest 5 Android and latest 3 version ng iOS. So, if I am not mistaken po sa iOS natin, we are on the 14th, 15th, okay? So, bilang lang tayo pabalik. Ganun din po sa ating Android. Pwede po nating gamitin. Ayan. Yes po.
Thank you, Miss Janet. Ito naman yung from the point of view ng isang administrator o may-ari
Okay
ng
po.
school, no? Yung requirement na internet connection kasi since yun nga ang concern daming teacher at may mga estudyante pang ko-connect sa kanilang internet. So, ano
Thank you so much, sir. As for the, kasi we're talking about bulk, kumbaga bulk internet connection na po ito. Now, I know po with the help of our MA, if you're planning to do HiFlex, we can provide po yung pwedeng mag-tech audit. Okay, meron po kaming team dito na pwedeng mag-tech audit po sa inyo. Relay more accurate information because it depends on the needs po ng inyong eskwelahan. But technically po, again, may pupunta po sa inyo, pwedeng pumunta na tech audit para po mas makalculate natin the internet speed. But technically po kasi kapag gagamitin na natin to, usually hindi na siya pang residential eh. Kasi sa atin po, remember, kapag ka naka-sky ka, 1 Mbps will, mga 10 Mbps will do already for us. But if that is already about the entire community or entire school, there should be a tech audit team that will go there so that they will give you accurate bandwidth, internet speed na kailangan po natin. Depende din po kasi yan sa population ng classroom. Kaya po kanina, remember, we are assessing the physical infrastructure together with the human infrastructure because we need to see how many students will be inside the classroom and how many of these students will be accessing yung internet natin. So again, tech audit will be there for you. I think MA po, yung ating mga material advisor dito, pwede po tayong makatulong so that we can have tech audit team within your community. Ayan. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you, Miss Janet. Miss Janet, no, clarification lang.
Yes
Yung
po.
once na nag-check na si tech audit natin, no, it's on us, no. Ang ibig ba sabihin nito, agree na sa subscription ang school or hindi pa? Kung sila ba ay signed with sign MOA or wala pa? Ano ba ang ating setup sa ganitong klaseng service? If it's after sales service ba o hindi pa sila nating kliyente?
I'm talking.
Clarify, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. But I'm talking po based on the experience that I had last 2020, 2021. The one po na ino-audit natin is yung meron na pong MOA na sinasabi natin. Okay? One good example here, okay, para maano natin is one of the schools that I am handling here in Quezon City, they already have their subscription and what they need to do is to switch from one provider to the other. And that is the reason why we ask po yung sa ating IT team to tech audit to tech audit po yung kanilang school. But again, to answer that, based on experience, it should be the schools with signed agreement already, sir.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Janet, for the clarification. Wala na po
Yes
akong
po.
tanong. Baka yung iba nating mga kasamahan meron pa. Thank
Yes
you.
po. Thank you po. Ayan po. May questions pa po ba tayo, dear teachers? O kaya may PM po sa ating mga material advisors?
Okay. Janet, good afternoon. Mukhang wala na ring questions and in the interest of time, sige, let's proceed with the JA. Thank you very much for Schoology, no? Remind ko lang, dear partners, that uh, pwede po kaming pumunta sa school ninyo to simulate this high flex with Schoology. So just keep in touch with our material advisor so we can help you with it. Okay? Pati
Tsaka,
na rin
yes,
yung
sir.
mga promos that goes with it.
Correct, correct. Tsaka, Sir John, i-add ko na rin, no?
Go.
Last week, may mga schools kaming nabisita ng mga LSS natin. And then, tama ba, Janet, we are giving parang trial, no? Doon sa mga interested na clients natin na gustong gumamit ng trial for school.
Yes po, we went to different schools last week po. And then yes, we are providing po trial accounts, free accounts po doon sa ating mga teachers. Now,
Yes.
to give lang po idea about the trial accounts, we're actually giving it for a month para po ma-access natin yung ating
Yes.
Schoology. Thank you po.
One of them, Ma'am Janet, kasama natin ngayon, yung from Creative Learning School Incorporated, yung CLSI, yung nagtanong sa atin. Siguro tatlo. Thank you.
Good afternoon po. And of course, good afternoon to everyone po. Ayan.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Shaul and Janet. All right. Sige, let's proceed, Janet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir John. All right, so after, of course, the learning platform, which is the Schoology, let's look into other learning solutions that we can provide for our teachers and, of course, for our students, for them to carry out their plans when it comes to senior high school students. So at this moment, po, we're going to discuss a program that is being offered by Rex. This is one of the learning solutions that we have focusing on the senior high school community. So this is building entrepreneurial skills and work immersion with JABSP program. So let's have a clear understanding on how this particular program will be of great help for our senior high school students who are going out already to their high school lives. Okay? So paano to makakatulong doon sa ating mga estudyante? Now, similar to Schoology, I also have a question that I want you to ponder on. Okay? So how was your recent senior high school work immersion? You can type in po sa ating chat box or you can actually think about this. Paano ba nag-materialize yung work immersion natin during this pandemic? Okay, natuloy ba yung work immersion natin? Hindi ba natuloy yung work immersion natin? Natuloy ba yung work immersion but there are several parang inhibitions. Kumbaga na-experience tayo because of the situation that we are in. Ayan. If ever na may gustong mag-share, you can just unmute your mic, dear teachers, or just type in our. So I have here from SLM SBI. Okay. So it's a face-to-face industry partnership. Now, I would like to commend po, okay, your community because you were able to have it face-to-face because some of the clients or some of the schools that we have talked to, okay, it's either they didn't push through their work immersion or they have it, okay, yun lang po, ang daming parang mga lags because of the calls that we have. So congratulations po sa inyo because you were able to carry out yung mga plans nyo and most especially face-to-face siya. Okay, now in this point, okay, since we are still in pandemic, there's still COVID-19, but the thing here is that there should be a continuous flow of education and experience for our teachers and for our students. We will be discussing the program that will assist when it comes to your work immersions. JABSP, I have here. Okay. Let me just hide po ito. Okay, so going back here, the primary reason why we are offering this particular learning program is because of the mandate of DepEd with regards to the work immersion subject po natin sa senior high school. So technically po, there should be 80 hours when it comes to work immersion. Pero ang naging problema po kasi natin, actually even now, kahit na medyo naglo-loosen up na yung mga protocols natin, is that hindi natin pwedeng isabak immediately yung mga estudyante natin with the situation that we have. So this is the reason why we are looking into different ways, effective ways, on how we can still carry out the work immersion despite of what is happening. Just like yung sa SLSBI po na school natin. Ayan, sana tama po yung acronym, ay yung nasabi ko, okay? Nakapag face-to-face sila, okay? So in here, that is what we are going to look into. So what you see in the screen is actually the JA Philippines, which is already 50 years, actually 53 years in the business already, okay? So ito po ay program that they offer for senior high school, technically for our youth. It's about the Business Skills Pass program or an alternative for your senior high school work simulation. So this particular program being offered by JA Philippines, ito po ay hina-highlight nito yung mga entrepreneurial youth natin, kumbaga, okay? And how we can accommodate them despite of this particular situation that we are in. Now, for us to have a clear understanding of what JA Philippines is, this is actually an organization that is running in the business for, again, more than 50 years already, okay? Now, si JA Philippines po, ito po ay part lang ng JA World kasi JA is actually a worldwide program, again, for our youth. And they believe that learning business, they believe that students or the youth must learn that matututo po kayo ng business if you do business by doing business. Yan ang mantra ng ating JA. And that is what we want to instill in the mind of our senior high school students, our grade 11 and grade 12 students. Now, to have a more background about JA Philippines, you can just screenshot po yung ating, ito pong nakaproject sa atin so that you will be able to access the JA Philippines. Now, also to give you more in how is this one best for our senior high school students, dapat po ma-recognize natin yung fact that JA is actually a recipient of different international awards pagdating sa mga NGO and other finances and entrepreneur topics po. So tayo po ay recipient nito. And here in the Philippines, because we are going in our country, we are, or this program, Students Development Program, that is being endorsed by DTI. Okay, so again, for the Department of Trade and Industry here in the Philippines, it's the JA that they are actually endorsing, together with the other affiliations that we have worldwide, which we seeing as we move forward for this particular discussion. Now, going here, okay, also have to understand, okay, kasi ang mission about the JA, that JA is only for businesses, therefore for ABM students. Actually, JA is not only for ABM students because our JA program can actually be integrated into the different tracks that you have in your school, be it in GAS, be it in STEM, UMS, o kaya yung ABM natin. Primarily kasi ABM is for business. But technically, that I have mentioned here, pwede po yung ating JA because we can integrate it in any of the entrepreneurial subject that we are offering for our senior high school students. And then at the same time, okay, we can have it within our work immersion, okay? In our work simulation program that can be an alternative po doon sa mandate sa atin ng DepEd. Alright? So, moving forward po yan, just to have you a clearer vision of and offer it doon sa ating mga different stands. Hindi lang po siya stone fixed sa ABM. Now, I would like to present to you the JA framework, okay? For you to better understand the goal of this particular program that we are offering. So I have here the one in green and the one that we have in gray. Now, the present is being represented by the green section and then the future future is being represented by our gray section. First and foremost po, since this one has something to do with the business, okay, then we are actually teaching our students about entrepreneurship. Now, after inculcating sa mind nating mga students yung entrepreneurship, then in the long run, in the near future, then we will have different businesses and enterprises in our surroundings, or actually from, okay, one of the factors that we have will be coming from the JA Philippines kasi we have already opened up the mind of is we also have to consider that not all students will be business people, okay, in the near future. Some of them will be employees, okay? So in JA po, we're not only teaching our students about business, but we are actually helped to be equipped employees in the near future. That is why we are also giving them ideas about work readiness, work ethics. Everything will be part of the program that we have for JA. Now, again, in the long run, we are aiming that after this particular sessions or after taking JA, okay, then there will be qualified recruits, okay, para sa ating mga businesses all over the place. So we are teaching them how to become qualified so that in the long run, they will be an ideal employee. And then on top of this, okay, I think this one is the most important because I can remember during my time, financial literacy is not being taught in the school, okay, nor in the household for some, okay? So we have to face this. We are already in the 21st century, and what better way to equip our students in the reality of life is to give them ideas, okay, not actually ideas, but we have to help them practice and understand financial literacy. Because in this, if we will be able to instill in the mind of our students the importance of financial literacy, then it will actually help the Philippines to have a healthy economy. So again, our focus when it comes to J only in the present time, but we are also helping our students to gear towards future na ready sila in terms of all the aspects that we are helping our students to learn. So that is our JA framework. Now, our JA framework is actually anchored to the Republic Act 10679. So this one has something to do with teaching the youth about entrepreneur financial education, because our JA are our grade 11 students and our grade 12 students. Actually, they have more programs, but our focus will be on the senior high school students because they are the one that will be, okay, kasi may iba sa mga senior high school students natin, yung iba hindi nagtutuloy. So they work na, okay? Some of them are also creating businesses. Some of them are doing part-time jobs. So yun nga, nagiging technically we're helping them to be ready whatever decision they may be, okay, in the near future. And then, okay, this is our program. So in a nutshell, JA program ay naka-focus po into 4 facets. For grade 11, for grade 12, and then the other opportunities that we will be able to reap once we have this particular program. We start with the grade 11 kasi it will all start there. So for the JA, for grade 11, it's about JAB Entrepreneurial, which will be discussed as we move forward. For our grade 12, we have our JA Company Program. And then for the third, there will be, okay, an output, which is your online final assessment so that you will be a JA certified. And then of course, what are the opportunities that we will be reaping once we have this program, our community? And baka po may question. May question po ba tayo? Mute ko lang po. Okay. So going back here, okay, this is actually how JA will be manifesting if ever that you will subscribe. Okay. So again, this particular program program, the Skills Pass program, is divided into two facets po. One is for grade 11 and then one is for grade 12. So as you have seen in our diamond a while ago, for the grade 11, it's about JAD entrepreneurial. Now, in here, the product po, or not really the product, but the end goal of this particular part of JA, the first part of JA, is for our students to have business plan already. Mamaya po, i-tease out natin possible. And then, part of the grade 11 will be the continuous mentoring. Continuous po yung mentoring natin sa mga students natin. And the mentors po of the BSP program will be, of course, the experts when it comes to the business chosen by our dear students. And then this one po is comprised of 7 session module. So all the topics, all the activities, all the things with regards to this particular part will be coming from the modules that they will have once you have subscribed within this particular program. Now, as for the grade 12, this one is also about the business plan, but this is already the implementation. So whatever it is that you have planned in your grade 11 class, for example, then it will be carried over as you move forward to grade 12 because this is already the implement. Is that this is where and when your business plan will materialize. So this is already your simulation. And actually, this is not, I wouldn't want to call it simulation because there are groups of students who have taken this simulation part as their business. Business talaga nila siya. Now also, the good thing about this, if you are into Schoology already, then we can have all the flows or all the learning materials within the system itself. So we can actually assist you with this one. Now, let's elaborate this to strands po natin. So what you can see here is an example of the material of JA materials for grade 11 that is already within Schoology. So as po, it's very comprehensive pero naka-organize siya so we can assist you with this if ever po that you will have JA as part of your senior high school program. Now in here, as you can see po, we have listed here things that the students will learn if they are in grade 11. So technically speaking po, in grade 11, this is highly theories. Mga theories po natin with regards to business. Kasi the very goal that we need to have with grade 11 is for the students to be aware and familiarized with the different terminologies when it comes to business. And when it comes to business, it's not only about selling and promoting, So I talk about promoting. So particularly in grade 11, there will also be some digital marketing that will help the students reach their potential clients in a most efficient way. So in here, so to strengthen the knowledge of our students, there should always be business mentoring, na pwedeng i-assist po ng mga GA expert natin so that our students will have an authentic learning with regards to this business. And then there will also be basic financial projection kasi po, if I may say so, gagawa na po ng company yung ating mga estudyante. So it's very important for them to understand the nitty-gritty businesses. And part of that is, of course, yung ating financial projection and pricing, marketing, and everything. Now, for the grade 11 po, the required output for this is a business plan. Ano ba yung gusto nilang mangyari dun sa business nila? Now, as you can see po, this is an example po ng business plan ng mga estudyante. Again, it's an example, but this is actually very comprehensive by the time na gagawin na po ng ating mga estudyante. Kasi there are different factors that they have to take into consideration for them to carry out their plans. So for grade 11, the required output will be the business plan. Now in here, of course, part of the grade 11 sessions na i-encounter ng mga estudyante natin is already them deciding the board of directors kasi this is a company. So when we talk about the company, there should be people manning. Who will be the president, who will be the VPs of the business. So sila rin po yung mag-iisip niyan. Again, with the adult supervision, yung mga experts supervision po natin so that they will be carrying out their plan effectively. Now, this is po an example, okay, through Zoom kasi nung pandemic po, hindi pa naman talaga tayo pinaka nagpe-face-to-face. So, there will be an invited experts, business experts, o kaya parang sa strategy natin, marketing plans that will be discussing dun sa mga estudyante natin for them, again, to have an authentic understanding of what business is and what are the entailing factors that should be considered when it comes to putting up a business. And again, if ever that you have your Schoology, then you can have that within the system. But I would also like to add that yung JA kasi they also have their platform. Okay, if ever po hindi tayo pa parte or wala pa yung Schoology, then they can actually have, you can actually use their platform po para ma-carry out itong JA program po natin. And then next po natin is for the grade 12. As you can see po dito sa ating grade 12, medyo nag-trim down na, okay? Yung mga kumbaga lessons ng ating mga bata. But as you can see, the lessons that we have for grade 12 are not only meant for the now, okay? But this is already for the near future. Kasi remember po the framework that we have sections for the now and then the near future. So as you can see po, in here for our JA company program for our grade 12, then they will be able to learn about the leadership, about social media marketing, which is very rampant in today's situation kasi ang marketing strategy talaga natin is through social media. And then we have different sales marketing will work and will be relevant to whatever business they have chosen. Financial literacy will be emphasized for this. And of course, yung Accenture skills to succeed natin will also be part of our grade 12 bracket. Now, the exit ticket for this is online assessment. Yung online assessment po natin will be helping our students to become JA certified. So, what will be to their curriculum vitae, at least the business po na pupuntahan nila will understand that, okay, so part siya ng JA, which is running in the business, again, for more than 50 years and very credible enough po, okay? Now, ang next natin will be this, okay? Again, in grade 11, you have your mentoring. Of course, in grade 12, tuloy-tuloy po yun. So there will still be business experts that our students for them to learn about the JA. Okay. Now, in here, okay, so as for last year, okay, as for the academic year that we just had, there are major considerations when it comes to the new norms for senior high school work immersion. Actually, we have 3. It says here that there should be health consideration. Again, it's no physical contact. Andyan pa rin yan. Actually, even now, okay, medyo nag-loosen up lang. Next natin is that everything that is happening, there should be a continuity of work immersion and entrepreneurship education. Again, because it's already a Republic Act. Therefore, it is already mandated by the law itself. Therefore, kailangan magtuloy-tuloy pa rin tayo. And then, of course, kahit na nasa ganito tayong situation, there should still be collaboration between and among the academe, the industry, and community. But the point there, paano natin siya magawa effectively, knowing that there are still, there's still virus luring around. And this is the reason why the JA Philippines has created its marketing platform, which is called JA Digital. So, for sure po, okay, marami sa atin dito ang nag-online shopping. Ayan, wag tayong mahiya. Marami sa atin nag-online shop because really similar to your Lazada, to your Shopee, to your Zalora. It's a platform wherein you can actually order. Now, the very good thing about this one is that this is for educational purposes, for the businesses of our students. Therefore, it is moderated effectively, okay, and then efficiently by its administrators. So, meron tayo ditong digital marketing platform. Now, these are the general features po a marketplace, yung kumbaga yung parang Lazada natin, yung JA Digital. I would like to summarize into idea of the JA Digital is similar to online platform or online selling platform that you know. They can order within the platform itself. They can pay within the platform itself through PayPal, GCash, Paymaya. They can actually generate their everything po na nagagawa ng Lazada and have it within the system. Ang kagandahan po nito is that it's again for educational purposes. So yung ating mga estudyante will not only be reaching their friends because once they have posted their products within the platform, then technically they are reaching more and more clients, potential clients. So that is the reason why nagkaroon tayo ng digital GA marketplace. So aside doon sa mga protocols or new considerations for work immersion, this is also our provision to help our students improve their business and their business skills. Okay? Moving forward po, this is for further opportunities. Now, for our further opportunities, ito po ay hindi lang nagre-revolve doon sa welfare ng ating mga estudyante, more on the school itself. So in here, what you can see, this is this last 20, si JA Philippines po prior to pandemic, nagbibigay po ito ng sponsorship, especially to those groups of students who have potential when it comes to businesses. Again, ito po ay hindi handpick lamang, but ito po ay based on the learning or kumbaga parang learning growth ng ating mga estudyante when it comes to business, when it comes to thinking about entailing factors that comprise what business is. So si JA po again, nagpo-provide po ito ng sponsorship. I hope po when we lift yung mga mga protocols natin, ito po ay continuous program para sa mga bata. So last most recent natin was in 2019. I think it happened in Australia. We also have in China and then Japan. So yung mga senior high school students po natin, if they have a very good plan and nakita po yung potential expert natin, then if there will be a competition, regional man po ito or national, then JA experts will be tapping our school, most especially our students, to have their business presented in different places. Also, okay, another aspect for further opportunities will be for the internship. I remember one answer kanina, it's about internship baga. So, katulad si yan. Get ko lang po. Okay. Yan. Going back po, okay, for the internship, which is very important in our work in immersion po, okay, si JA Philippines po ay partner ito sa iba't ibang organizations here in the Philippines. Pwede ko po sa inyong ipakita. But to name a few, okay, for example po sa mga accounting natin, remember firm po, SGV, sa Makati, we also have the Starbucks, we have Shell, ABS-CBN, GMA, although yung ABS-CBN, naka-read away po ako doon. But we have different partnerships from different establishments that offer, kumbaga, yung mga specialized things po na ino-offer po nila. Parang mga kung saan yung forte nila, kumbaga. Okay? So that's for internship. So it will be those particular institutions. Now, career insight, remember dear teachers and administrators that one of the outputs po ng ating mga estudyante is for them to have an online exam, for them to become JA certified. So imagine having that certification within their curriculum vitae, then it will be a very good leverage for them when it comes to career, okay? Kanina sinabi natin there are students who will continue to college, but there will also be students that will be laying off muna, okay? Magtatrabaho muna yung mga estudyante natin. And the good thing about that is that they are already exposed about what the economy is, what the business is, and what it is to become an employee, okay? And then mentoring as well, coming from the different places, yung mga experts po natin when it comes to businesses, when it comes to strategies, microfinance, ang ating pong parang financial literacy, all of those will be one of the benefits din po ng ating mga estudyante and of course yung mga teachers natin. Now this one, as for microfinancing po, yung microfinancing natin, if ever po na medyo kulang sa budget yung mga estudyante natin but they have a very good plan, pwede po itong mapag-usapan, okay? Hindi po ito, I think I should say na hindi po siya laging nandiyan, but if nakita po ng JA natin that you have a very good potential, then they can actually sponsor your particular business. So it is something like that po. Okay, now moving forward, benefits of the school. Okay, of course, JA is not only here in the Philippines, but this is JA worldwide. So you can access, our school has an access to worldwide program initiatives because primarily the materials that we are going to use is international standard po yung pina-follow natin. Okay? But of course, context coming here from our Philippines. So some of the affiliations po that we have is the European Commission, we have World Economic Forum, we have our Harvard Graduate School of Education. So to name a few, ito po yung mga affiliations natin. And this is the reason why it's a very good exposure for our students to have this within their senior high school program. Now, moving forward naman po, as for our teachers, so of course, there will be teachers that will be teaching this particular program that will be injected to the entrepreneur subject that we have in the school. Ang kagandahan po nito is that our teachers, kayo po, dear teachers, if our administrators will also be part, then I think it's up to our GA expert, but there will be a program for our dear teachers for them to be equipped. Now, the reason why we have trainings for our teachers is that, remember po, not all our teachers are really into business. Okay, some of them are just assigned, for example, to teach entrepreneurship. Primarily, baka meron silang background, okay? A little background about entrepreneurship. But if we're going to look at the reality, not all teachers are into business. Meron silang kumbaga affiliated sila sa isang business or meron may training sila sa business program. So we are actually helping our teachers to be more equipped with regards to teaching this particular program and of course the entrep subject that they are teaching. Similarly to our dear students, yung ating mga teachers din po will have their GA certifications. So aside from LPT, then certification for our teachers as GA expert. Ayan po, that's for our teachers. Now, also, the good thing about this one is remember po, we are always checking about the alignment of our program in the parang mandate na binibigay sa atin ni DepEd. So technically po, even though worldwide si JA and marami tayong mga activities na internationally inclined, again, we contextualize po the materials so that it will be aligned doon sa K-12 po natin. Okay? So kung ano yung pinapagawa dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, then we are still abiding by the rules given by the DepEd with, of course, major twist so that our students will become more globally competitive. Ayan po. So we can also give that to our dear students and of course sa ating mga dear teachers. Now, there are the partner schools that we have po. We Montessori, we have MI. This is not only po, these are not only the schools that we have. Kumbaga, ito po yung kasya sa ating screen. But yung kanina po, if you can remember the one that we have presented, yung may bata po, si Miss Lanuza. Sila po yung nanalo last 2019, yung business po nila. Sila po yung nag-aaral sa Saint Scholastica College sa Marikina po ito. Ayan. So, in a nutshell po, okay, for JA business program po, okay, the business skills pass program that is being offered by JA Philippines sa ating mga senior high school student is not only looking to what is now, okay, to what should be learned because of the mandate given to us by DepEd, but this is already readying our students to become future leaders, to become future entrepreneurs, and of course, to become a productive and responsible our country. And that is our JA Philippines. Again, JA Philippines believes in learning business by doing business. So if ever po that you have question, actually that ends our JA BSP program. If ever po that you have question, you may just raise your hand so that we can address.
Okay. Sige, si Lane, baka merong mga need na mga questions. Lane, meron ba?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Ma'am Janet. Yung tinatanong lang po about sa paano po, hello.
Sige, clear
Hello, Ma'am
naman, clear.
Janet. Oo,
Yes po, naririnig po.
yes, sige. Yung question lang po, paano po yung assessment po ng output po ng JA po na program para sa mga students?
Thank you, Ms. Lalene. Okay. As for the assessment of the outputs po ng ating mga estudyante, remember po that our teachers will be trained by the JA experts. So it will be seen po by our dear teachers para ma-assess po nila. And of course po, before po makakreate ng output or business plan yung ating mga estudyante, then of course po, remember po that they are with the business experts. Na-assess din po ng mga business experts natin what plan the student has. And of course, with the intervention po ng ating mga dear teachers that will be teaching po yung ating business program together with the entrep courses po na ino-offer ng ating schools. Yan. Thank you po.
Thank you, ma'am. Jules?
Yes po. Ma'am Janet, may question daw po kasi dito is, ito din is na ako din po ito, experience ko din po ito one time during our discussion with our clients po, i-raise ko na rin na what if daw wala silang dedicated teachers for JA, so the school is interested, pero what if wala po silang maibigay na teachers for teaching JA itself.
Okay, thank you, sir, for that question. And I would also like to clarify that the JA or the business skills as program natin can be integrated mga practical lessons po natin in entrepreneurship. So it's more on injecting, okay, yung mga lessons po natin that will be coming from the business skills pass program. So if ever po, okay, parang ang nakikita ko pong question is may iba bang teacher na magtuturo nung parang etong program po natin? Actually, hindi po, okay? The reason why we are training or the JA experts are training your teachers, yung mga businesses teachers po natin is for them to become equipped po. So whoever po is handling your entrep courses, sila din po actually yung pwedeng maggawa or mag-integrate together with the help of JA expert doon sa business skills pass program po natin. Okay, so again, whoever has the assignment of entrep subjects, sila din po yung carry ng business skills pass program and most likely to train ng JA expert, okay, for them to become more equipped about this particular program.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that. Meron pa pong isang question. So,
yes po.
Siguro hindi lang po ito masyadong na-clarify kanina. So, how would it be possible daw po to integrate JA into other strands knowing that entrep lang talaga or ABM yung
personally po, I'm a senior high school teacher. Okay, in senior high school po, in our school, we have different strands, the STEM, the GAS, the STEM, ABM, and then UMS. Okay po. Ang ating JA program po, since it's connected to the businesses subject, ito po ay core subject na tinuturo po sa ating mga estudyante regardless ng meron sila. So pwede also, okay, one of the things din po that we have explored is that since this one kasi is most likely po for the business program, actually in a club, okay, yung mga club po natin, pwede kasi natin siyang i-inject since halo-halo po yung mga estudyante natin doon. But the thing here is, when we say JA, it's not only about selling products, but you can also have your service provided. Okay, so for example, for our young students po, if they're inclined into tutoring, then they can also put up a business focusing on that particular service. So technically, it's not only about selling, for example, notebook. Okay, so it's not only like that po. So I hope it's clear po sa atin. Thank you so much po.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering that question po. Ma'am Lilin, meron pa po ba tayong ibang questions to raise? Or sa ibang mga girls? So parang wala na po. Sir John, we will give the floor to our manager na po. Sir John.
All right. Sige, thank you very much, Jules and Lane, for facilitating the questions. And Janet, thank you very much. Now you've been talking for 2.5 hours now. Ay, hindi,
It's
almost
okay.
3 hours.
Thank you so much po. Thank you so much.
Yep, opo. Just for closing, now we are really very excited about this JA Business Skills Pass program, because it's not only a program, but it's a nation building program, no? That can be used to really enhance and encourage our students to become entrepreneur rather than being an employee. No, you are the opportunity because it will be an opportunity for you to market the school, being a business school in that area, and for teachers, the trainings for the trainings, no, having a mini MBA programs and to be certified, no, yung certification is international, di ba, Janet, both for teacher and for students. Kaya whoever successful businessman na makakausap nila, and they will know that this student is a JA BSP product, malaki yung chance na makuha siya dun sa employment na yung position. Okay? And of course, ang pinakamahalaga yung confidence ng estudyante natin to own a business, to build a business. And lastly, kasi maraming mga schools natin that really want to make it a work immersion program. Yes, JA has papers to back up that this program can be credited by the Department of Education as a work immersion program. So safe and very effective yung program natin. Okay? So with that, Jana, thank you very much. And to all attendees and to all our colleagues, mga LSS partners natin, yung ating mga Zoomists and Roomists, thank you very much, guys. And to our material advisors, no, Jen, Tin, Billy, Raul, Jerwin, Lane, and Jules, thank you very much for inviting these our clients. And we look forward to seeing you face to face, dear clients, para mas lalo namin kayong matulungan to facilitate the program for your school. So with that, thank you very much, and good afternoon, and thank you for sharing again this afternoon with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much po. Bye-bye.
Thank you po. Thank you po.
Bye-bye po. Salamat.
Salamat po.
Thank you.
Thank you po.